Now, from the area's leader in live local news, this is WYLN News, the area's #1 source of live local news and information in Luzerne, Schuylkill, Carbon, and Columbia counties. WYLN News starts now.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us on WYLN News. I'm Preston Endress. A person has been hospitalized after being involved in a multi-car crash in 40 Fort Sunday night. 40 Fort fire crews and police responded to a crash involving 3 cars around 7:45 p.m. Sunday. Officials say at least one person was injured and was admitted to a nearby hospital. The state of their injuries is currently unknown. We will provide more updates as they come along. A man is in custody after he allegedly entered a home along Orchard Street in Hanover Township. 44-year-old Eric Keefe allegedly assaulted the victims with a hammer and scissors, hitting one in the face with the hammer and stabbing the other in the stomach with the scissors. The victims sustained non-life-threatening injuries, and Keefe is in the hospital to treat other non-life-threatening injuries. After Keefe is released from the hospital, he will be arraigned on charges of aggravated assault, simple assault, and other related charges. PennDOT has announced today the closures to all driver's license and photo centers due to the holiday. They announced that from Saturday, January 7th through Monday, January 19th will be closed in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. Day holiday. PennDOT always reminds customers that they can obtain driver and vehicle products and services including forms, publications, and driver training manuals all through their website with no additional fees. A complete listing of PennDOT closings for 2026 is available online at www.pa.gov/agencies/DMV. Police arrested 2 individuals, one for retail theft and one for obstruction and resisting in Wilkes-Barre. On Saturday, January 10th, police were called to a retail theft at JCPenney in the Wyoming Valley Mall. 20-year-old Carl Andrew Sliak was detained by JCPenney Loss Prevention for shoplifting, but fled before police arrived. When police were looking around the area, they saw Sliak walking with another man on Mundy Street. Both of them refused to comply with police to stop. As police approached them on foot, 20-year-old Emmanuel D. Davis attempted to block Carl from the police crew and blocked them from attempting to catch Sliak. As police detained both males, they resisted arrest but were ultimately taken into custody. Sliak is being charged with retail theft, resisting arrest, and other charges. Davis is being charged with obstruction to law enforcement and resisting arrest. Both were taken to the Luzerne County Correctional Facility for Monday's arraignment. This story dives deep into a murder case dating back almost 15 years. In May of 2011, businessman Jonathan Ballister was found stabbed to death in his home in Kingston Township, and his murder case went cold for more than a decade. Just today, 69-year-old Frederick Ballister, Jonathan's cousin, was arrested in connection with his death. According to the police, Jonathan was the main shareholder of his family business, Ballister Optical. Said company was in negotiation for a big sale in which Jonathan did not sign. Investigators in the murder case looked over evidence and found that Frederick had a stun gun wound, in which the authorities discovered he owned a similar weapon. Not only did investigators find in court documents that Frederick and Jonathan did not get along, but also that a meeting between the shareholders with the sale on topic was scheduled on the day of the murder, May 26th. Investigators learned that Frederick was furious about Jonathan's refusal to sell. A trash pull was set by detectives at Frederick's residence, and they found a stun gun concluded to be the weapon, including Jonathan being stabbed at least 15 times. Frederick Ballister is now in custody. Coming up on WYLN News, Pennsylvania kicked off their farm show in conjunction with the America 250 celebration. Plus, Amazon Web Services will be hosting a workshop at a local college. But first, we'll take a look at our 5-day forecast brought to you by the WYLN Weather Kids. We'll be right back.
Brought to you by Lehigh Valley Health Network, part of Jefferson Health. With LVHN Same Day, Next Day Cancer Care, you can get a video visit with a clinician within 48 hours following a cancer diagnosis. Learn more at lvhn.org/cancercare.
I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
We want your child to be our WYLN Weather Kid. Your child can be our feature weather reporter of the day on WYLN News and WYLN social media posts, just by using your smartphone or any video recording device. It's easy. All ages are welcome, from toddlers to teens. To find out how, go to the weather section of WYLNTV.com or look for our post about it on the WYLN News Facebook page. Submit your Weather Kid video today.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30. Hey, did you know WYLN posts news stories and other bonus content on social media all week long? The Weather Kids, Fresh from the Farm, Everyday Heroes, Let's Talk Sports, Feel Good Friday, daily news stories, and more. Visit WYLNTV.com, Facebook, and YouTube to check it out. WYLN, the local leader on social media. We're your local network. Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicap accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Hey everybody, this week on Let's Talk Chiropractic, Dr. John will be here. Let's talk about if you thought you never needed a chiropractor or you're afraid to see a chiropractor. Let's shed some light on maybe why you might have to change your mind.
When you see news happening in your neighborhood, call WYLN News at 570-459-1869 or email us at news@WYLNTV.com or send us a message on social media through Facebook. WYLN, we're your local network.
Welcome back to WYLN News. On Saturday, January 10th, PA Department of Agriculture Secretary Russell Redding and other state and federal officials officially commemorated the start of the 2026 PA Farm Show. The year's theme, Growing a Nation, celebrates Pennsylvania's role in shaping the United States through its farming heritage, which helped feed the early nation and continues to drive economic growth, innovation, and community through agriculture and food industries. The Farm Show is taking place at the Pennsylvania Farm Show Complex and Expo Center in Harrisburg and runs from the 10th to the 17th. For more information on what to find at the Farm Show, visit farmshow.pa.gov. The Amazon Web Services and Luzerne County Community College are hosting the AWS Information Infrastructure Workshop for educators. The one-day workshop is designed to help educators and workforce professionals better understand the physical infrastructure that powers cloud computing, AI, and the modern information economy. As cloud technologies continue to reshape industries, many companies are in need for trained workers to support data centers, network, and infrastructure operations. The workshop provides participants with insights into these careers through hands-on activities, real-world demonstrations, and direct engagement with industry leaders. The workshop will be held on Wednesday, January 14th at the Educational Conference Center in Luzerne County Community College for education leaders, workforce professionals, and AWS industry experts. A brand new opportunity has risen for those wanting to contribute to the Pennsylvania workforce, specifically the Bridging Pennsylvania constructors. ProRank is giving a hand in growing the Pennsylvania workforce through their highway construction training program, mainly the Cohort 1 of the TA+. According to ProRank, this program is not a workshop or orientation, but a month-long full-time training that concludes with legitimate credentials and job placement. The program's start date is on January 26th and ends February 21st, and there are limited spots being filled on a first-come, first-served basis. There are 2 training sites at Harrisburg with transportation provided for Saturday testing. Participants can receive a $20 per hour stipend, all the right equipment, good mentorship, and good connections to the employer network. Those interested are to be 18 to 24 years old, involved in the justice system, have a GED or high school diploma, a valid driver's license, and pass a drug test. To fill in a spot and or obtain more information, contact Demir Castile by email at demir@prorankllc.com or call 855-776-7265. Coming up on Ringtown's News Choice, we see what's on the agenda for this week's Crocomus County Report. Plus, Wyln historian Chris Fulmer leads us on the path through history with Williamsport Part 1. And stay right here on Wyln. We'll be right back.
It's cold out there. Call S.J. Kowalski for the best products and solutions to help lower your energy costs and keep your family safe and comfortable this winter. Our professional team has unparalleled experience with all the latest innovative types of heating systems. We're a Lennox Premier dealer, installing high-quality equipment, providing the ultimate experience in comfort and climate control while being energy efficient. S.J. Kowalski, heating and cooling the way the earth intended.
Do you like craft beer? Do you want to learn the right way to sample wine? How about checking out a restaurant with a unique flavor or a crazy food challenge? These are just some of the things we are featuring on Wine, Hops, and Road Stops. So, spend some time learning about great wine, great beer, and great food on Wyln TV 35.
Wyln TV 35 is expanding and is on the hunt for a dynamic salesperson to join our vibrant team. If you've got the passion and the drive, we want to hear from you. Send your resume to the email displayed on your screen. Don't miss this great opportunity.
Wyln programming is online all the time. Visit our website at WYLNTV.com to check out archive shows and a live stream of our broadcasts. And don't forget to visit all of our social media pages for breaking news, weather, and sports. You can also head directly to our YouTube page for all our programming at youtube.com/WYLNTV35. Subscribe and ring that bell so you get notified every time there's a new show available online. Attention WYLN viewers, WYLN TV can now be seen on the Hazleton Service Electric Cablevision HD tier, channel 507, and over the air at 35.1. WYLN, we're your local network.
Hi, welcome to Crocomus County Report. I am the host today, Preston Endress, and here with me is... Where's Romilda? Romilda Crocomo isn't here today, in case you don't remember from the last few, we mentioned that she was getting surgery, and of course, there is no telling how predictable the recovery process will be, so we're willing to give her all the time she needs, but until then, I am here to discuss some recent events in Luzerne County that are worth bringing up. Some good, some suspenseful, some great. I don't know, that's for your opinion to decide, but okay, so we covered this story in the WYLN news like a week ago, but it's worth bringing up based on the authorities, who we have to thank very much. So regarding Selah Edwards, the 24-year-old in Luzerne County, having to plot to make a weapon of mass destruction, resulting in a joint counterterrorism investigation among the District Attorney's Office, the Wilkes-Barre City Police, and of course, the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And we have Luzerne County District Attorney Sam Sangodose and the Wilkes-Barre City Police Chief Joseph Cafe working on this, very hard, by the way, and it was ultimately a huge success. They managed to catch Selah, and he's, of course, being charged with very big charges and attempt to possess and manufacture weapons of mass destruction. This is not a good look for any citizen of this country. And of course, because of the success, District Attorney Sangodose, he was thankful for both the FBI and the Wilkes-Barre City Police for their quick response and assistance. And it looks like that's proof that these taxes are going towards the very important stuff. And we thank the police, we thank the FBI, we thank those who help out to prevent the bad. And with that said, Salah's in jail, and and Luzerne County is a much safer place. Now, with that suspenseful crime story out of the way, now let's get to something a little fun, or very fun. Let's see, there will be 9 selected bands to perform in Beakers and compete for the final spot in the NEPA Philharmonic Battle of the Bands competition. And this big competition will be on Saturday, January 31st. It'll be a fun day for the end of the month. Now, let's see. For those wanting to get in, it looks like the online submissions, they were only being accepted, at least a month ago, November 10th to November 14th. So to those who are wanting to be a part of this and are learning about it, I'm sorry, the most we could do now is watch, as those who went in and are qualified, and they will be giving quite the show, because I am into music. Speaking of music, because it's a new year, I want to get into music again, so here's hoping my resolution of getting back to the piano, it's a success. Please, 2026, please. Now, for the NEPA Philharmonic Battle of the Bands, looks like it was quite a timeline of parts getting to the main end, as we got the qualifier events, the semifinal event, and of course, the Battle of the Bands. And so the competition for the final spot will be on this Thursday, January 8th, at 7:00 p.m. at the Mohegan, Pennsylvania, at 1280 Highway 315, Wilkes-Barre, PA, 18702. So for those who are competing that day, good luck, and may the best musician win. Now, for those looking forward to the meetings, it looks like today, depending on when this is, at 6 o'clock, the Luzerne County Council will hold a reorganization meeting at the Luzerne County Courthouse. And for those who are just learning now, you're late. You're not going to make it. Unless you're fine with just using Zoom. This is also a Zoom call meeting. And the Zoom webinar is Luzerne County Council meeting. And to call in, the number is 929-205-6099. And the webinar ID is 946-5052 and 2660. And the passcode will be 252759. Now, for more info and for more meetings, just go to luzernecounty.org. They have everything regarding events and, of course, the government, and info on those who work hard to keep it stable. Like, Luzerne County Manager Ramilda Crocomo. And I'm sure she'll be back soon. She'll be all ready for the meetings, the interviews, and she'll have that smile on her face ready to go. And with that said, looks like we've covered just enough on this week's Crocomo's County Report. We all miss Ramilda, but we can't have all the best in life every day, or every Monday for that matter. Anyway, with that said, we'll see you next time.
Come shoot at Whitetail Preserve, 118 Boulevard Road in Bloomsburg. Their skeet, trap, and sporting clay fields are professionally designed, and all stations are handicapped accessible. Whitetail Preserve has resident shooting instructors certified by the NRA in shotgun, rifle, pistol, home safety, and personal protection in the home. Whitetail can also cater any size event, whether it be a private party, corporate event, or wedding. Call 570-384-2314 or 570-790-8969.
Something is out there. What it is, no one knows. However, since its first sighting, there have been numerous reports of strange lights in the night sky. Some say they are extraterrestrials, flying saucers. But to all of those seemingly unrelated uncertainties, there is one common thread.
Watch Solo Spaceman on WYLN Thursdays at 1:30, Saturdays at 7, and Sundays at 4:30.
Hello, I'm Wyln historian Chris Fulmer. Pennsylvania's communities are filled with interesting history. Come with me as we discover the people, events, industries, and other historic facets of local towns.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
When the Revolution broke out in the 1770s, many Native Americans still living along the Susquehanna River's West Branch sided with the British against the colonists, believing the former could better protect their ancestral lands. July 10, 1778 would prove a crucial date in this clash of civilizations in the area. A group of wagons carrying 16 colonial settlers in this day was approaching Lycoming Creek, headed for the outpost community of Jaysburg on the west side of the stream. Worried about the possibility of native attacks along the Susquehanna, the group, led by Peter Smith, was hoping to find safety there. At sunset, the band reached Loyal Sock Creek, where they came across John Harris, who told them he'd heard gunfire from marauding natives around Lycoming Creek. Harris urged the party to turn back to Fort Muncie, but Smith and the band decided to continue onward. Shortly afterward, they would pass through a plum orchard located at the corner of today's 4th and Cemetery Streets, roughly a half hour from their destination. To widen the road for wagons, several trees had been cut down, their branches stacked along the sides of the road, making it the perfect place for an ambush. And as the wagons approached, Iroquois fighters opened fire on the party from behind the branches. The men retreated into the orchard to try and return fire, but eventually gave up and ran off, leaving the women and children behind to be set upon and tomahawked to death by the Iroquois. One boy and girl managed to escape and ran to the nearest settlement, but they were so terrified by their experience that the adults there at first did not understand what had happened. In the meantime, John Harris had reached Fort Muncie and told the garrison there of the gunfire he'd heard in Lycoming Creek. The fort commander immediately sent out a party to find the settlers and bring them back to the fort. But the troops initially went the wrong way, and it was nightfall by the time they realized it and had to return to the fort. By the time the soldiers reached the plum grove the next morning, it was much too late. What became known as the Plum Tree Massacre claimed the lives of 12 of the settlers. The victims of the Plum Tree Massacre were buried where they had fallen, and today a monument in the cemetery that sprang up around them marks their memory. With the new American nation victorious in the Revolution and the natives subsequently squeezed out of the area, more settlers would come to the region after the conflict. Two of the more prominent ones were William Hepburn and Michael Ross, who purchased land holdings, named Deer Park and Virginia respectively, along the West Branch between the Lycoming and Loyal Sock Creeks. Despite the swampiness of the area, Ross had begun to build a town on his land and teamed with Hepburn to push for the new community to be made a county seat. At the time, Jaysburg, which was built on higher ground across Lycoming Creek, would have seemed to have had a better chance of becoming county seat. Residents of Jaysburg, feeling threatened by Hepburn and Ross's maneuvering, fought to get the county seat for themselves and tried to send an affidavit to state government officials, claiming the two men's land flooded too easily to have the honor. Hepburn and Ross, however, arranged to have the courier intercepted before he left the area and got him drunk, which after their agents took the affidavit and destroyed it. State officials, not wanting a protracted battle between the communities to break out, considered a third option at Dunsburg in today's Clinton County. Hepburn and Ross then played their ace after Hepburn convinced Ross to sell some of his land to the state for construction of a county courthouse and jail. The decision worked, and when Lycoming County, the name derived from a Native American word meaning Sandy Creek, was formed on April 13, 1795, the new town of Williamsport was named the county seat. There is some question of how the new town got its name. Some believe it was in honor of William Hepburn himself, others named Michael Ross's son William as the source, and others believe it came from William Russell, who owned an inn and wharf in the area. Regardless of the name source, the town eventually absorbed Jaysburg, which today is Williamsport's Newberry section. At its incorporation, Williamsport was little more than a few isolated buildings. The first school would be built in 1796, the first post office in 1799, and the first store in 1801. 1812 would see the birth of the Williamsport Academy for the Education of Youth. Originally for boys only, it opened to girls in the 1830s. By 1847, the Methodist Reverend Benjamin H. Creever purchased the school and moved it from high school to collegiate status, renaming it the Williamsport Dickinson Seminary and making a preparatory school for Carlisle's Dickinson College. It was one of 4 schools he had officially found, and the only one still in operation today. In 1929, then college president John W. Long transformed the institution into the Williamsport Dickinson Seminary and Junior College, making it the first private junior college in the state. It would gain its current name, Lycoming College, in 1947, and today continues to serve north central Pennsylvania and the wider world with honor. Among its notable alumni are longtime state representative and Senator Dave Argall, legendary Villanova women's basketball coach Harry Peretta, and brewery magnate Dick Yingling Jr. Lycoming Warrior football would become a Division III powerhouse for many decades under longtime coach Frank Girardi. In 36 years at the helm of the Warriors' gridiron program, Girardi would win 257 games, punctuate with 13 Middle Atlantic Conference championships and 11 trips to the Division III playoffs, including appearances in the Amos Alonso Stagg Bowl Division III National Championship game in 1990 and 1997. Canals rose up all across the United States throughout the 1830s, and the Susquehanna's West Branch was part of the craze as well. The West Branch Division of the Pennsylvania Canal opened in Williamsport on October 15, 1834, stretching from Northumberland to Farrensville, Clinton County. The first boat to travel through the waters on its way to Jersey Shore was owned by George P. Auchenbach, while the first cargo to land in Williamsport was iron for John B. Hall's furnace in town. For the next 20 years, the canal would dominate the community, with produce being floated up and down the waterway to market. One of those who frequented the canal in its heyday was Daniel Hughes, a barge owner of mixed ethnicity. His occupation navigating on the canal would prove a prime cover for his secondary job, conductor and station master in the Underground Railroad. Hughes would pick up escaped slaves in Maryland at Havre de Grace near the Susquehanna's mouth, hide them in his barge's hold, and float them back up the river to Williamsport. From there, he would take them to his property in a wooded hollow north of Williamsport, which had several caves they could hide out in. Hughes and his family fed and gave medical care to the escapees when they were on his property, and afterwards he and his sons would guide them to the next station on the Underground Railroad in the area, at the Apker House in Trout Run. It was a dangerous mission, with hostile neighbors and slave catchers in the area, and as Hughes and his family worked primarily under the cover of moonless nights. They would take to stringing horse hairs across the road while guiding the escapees to literally trip up any bounty hunters or slave catchers that might be wise to them. Their planning would pay off, though, as no slaves would be caught near Hughes's property during his time as a conductor. Today, the hollow in which the Hughes house once stood has been named Freedom Road for his efforts to give liberty to others. Another African-American woman in Williamsport would break down barriers in the literary world. Julia Collins was working as a schoolteacher at an African-American school in Williamsport when she would become the first black woman to publish a novel, albeit posthumously, as she passed on in 1865 before her book The Curse of Caste was completed. Her editors finished the book for her, including both a sad and a happy ending to Collins' main character Claire, to cover each way Collins might have ended the story.
Hi, my name is Ezra. I'm 5 years old. It's kind of partly cloudy.
You're watching WYLN TV 35.